Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the North Face Router backpack, which is the largest in the commuter focused line of bags that the North Face has, which also includes the Surge, the Recon, the Borealis. I've had a great experience using those bags in the past, and I got a lot of requests for the Router. I wasn't actually planning to take a look at it, but many people left comments asking what the bag was like and how it would compare to some of those other options. And as always, I'm on the lookout for video ideas, so thank you to everybody who requested this bag. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's been like to use this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, the aesthetic here is going to feel pretty similar to some of the other North Face bags that we've looked at on the channel. So it's got a pretty functional vibe. It's not super minimal. It's got attachment points, straps. It's not as technical looking as something like the Borealis, as it doesn't have the bungee cord. So I think it's a versatile aesthetic that is going to work well across a number of environments, whether you're using this for walking around the city, traveling, or taking into the outdoors. As far as the materials, the bag feels pretty solidly built, similar materials to what we've seen in North Face's other bags. So a ripstop nylon exterior that feels like it's gonna hold up well to rougher usage. It's got kind of a reinforced bottom area. These fabrics also seem like they're gonna offer a decent amount of weather resistance, and then you have nice YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, you have two external water bottle pockets, one on each side, and these offer a pretty decent amount of space. Should be able to handle common water bottle sizes pretty comfortably. Currently what I have here is a 20-ounce water bottle from LifeStraw, which is filtered. I featured that in a couple of recent videos, but this would be able to handle my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler pretty comfortably. You have a good amount of elasticity here. I like that that also pulls the pocket closer to the bag when it's not in use. Above those pockets, you do have some compression straps, so that'll be great for pairing with something taller. If you want to store your tripod here, you can secure it with these compression straps, or maybe just place a jacket or something there. This can also be helpful for compressing the bag down when it's not as full, prevent everything from shifting around. Then you also have a couple of attachment points here near the back, which I've really liked for actually adding luggage pass-throughs to this style of bag when I'm traveling, but a great spot to just clip on anything that you might want to hold with a carabiner, like a hand sanitizer or maybe some type of a light. And then on the bottom of the bag, you also have compression straps. I like that some strap keepers are included here to help manage how much strap you might actually end up with. And you can compress this down pretty far when you're not using the full capacity of the bag, and then just release it when you want to take full advantage. And these also offer enough strap that you can use it to secure items that don't fit on the inside, like a sleeping bag, a tripod, yoga mat, jacket. So really nice versatility with kind of the external compression straps. And then on the front, this is one of the differences from the other bags in this series. You won't find a handle like this on the Borealis or the Surge. So that's one of the benefits of this bag, is you have this front handle here that's going to allow you to pick the bag up. You can load it into an overhead storage compartment or onto a trunk, and then you have a similar handle on the top, and they both have a pretty good amount of padding, so they maintain some comfort even when the bag is a little bit heavier. As far as the capacity, the Router comes in at about 40 liters, so it's a pretty substantial bag. Definitely feels bigger than the Surge backpack, which was already a pretty sizable EDC bag. So you get plenty of space here, and this is more so in the travel bag size typically for me. 40 liters is what I would use for one bag travel, so you can hold an impressive amount of stuff here. Feels a little bit big for daily usage for my particular size and needs, but with the compression you could probably manage it. When it's fully filled out, it does tend to stick out a little bit, so that's something that you want to keep in mind if you're planning on carrying this on to a variety of airlines. Probably won't fit under a seat. It might have to go into an overhead storage compartment, and you have to be mindful when you're in crowded places, but generally it still felt pretty good for just walking around. Taking a look at the straps on the back paneling, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. Not to sound like a broken record, but the harness system here is very similar to the ones found on the Surge, the Recon, the Borealis, and I really enjoyed the harness system on those bags. I know the straps on the newer North Face bags have been a little bit controversial, or there's split opinions on them. They do offer a decent amount of padding. It's got kind of this softer, almost gel-like material, but they are fairly thin, which wasn't really an issue for me with the other backpacks that I've tested out from them. But with this larger size, once you start to really pack it out, you start to feel more fatigue than I had noticed in some of my other North Face testing. The straps still have a pretty good width, so it doesn't dig into your shoulders too much. But again, with the size of the bag and the thickness of the padding, just doesn't feel quite as comfortable as other travel bags in this size range. It feels like it could have used a little bit more of a robust harness given the jump in capacity. You do still have a couple of attachment points on the straps where you can hang your sunglasses or clip on a light or something like that. And then you have an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute the weight that also has a safety whistle. And then at the bottom, you have an included removable waist strap, which is going to be helpful to stabilize the load when the bag is a little bit more packed out, prevent it from shifting side to side. Generally, I would remove this fully, as I'm just not really a fan of this type of strap. Doesn't really add much in the way of support, padding, or comfort. So I'm glad that you can fully remove it if you don't want to use it, but it's great that it's included if you prefer to have that extra bit of help when the pack is loaded out. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag has a nice variety of pockets all throughout. A lot of the layout is going to be very similar to the other North Face bags that I keep mentioning, but the front area is usually where North Face's bags will differentiate themselves a little bit. So the Recon has that elastic slip pocket on the front, the Borealis has the bungee cord, and the Surge has two split zippered pockets. So this one is also different. It has one larger zippered admin area that has a wide opening, opens up kind of like a book. And then inside here, you have a couple of mesh slip pockets. So it's a pretty cool layout for my style of packing, as I don't always take full advantage of little slots and everything like that. I prefer to have these larger areas. One thing that you'll immediately notice is that this is an open space. So anything that you place in here that isn't big can potentially slip out when you open it, flat like this. So you'll have to keep that in mind. And then also you can't put lots of bulky items against each other because it'll just make it hard to zip it up. So at the moment, what I currently have in here in this front compartment is just my laptop charger with its cable. And there was still plenty of leftover space. This might be a good spot for jacket, glove, maybe some over-ear headphones if you have the type that can fit here. And then on the back side, another similar compartment with some elasticity. And here I currently have the Evergoods Civic Access pouch, 1 liter, as well as a pair of sunglasses. Above that, you have a kind of hidden and tech-focused compartment that is great for more delicate items, as it has a soft fleece lining on the inside. So if you have sunglasses that you want to store without a case, this might be a good spot for them. Your phone. What I currently have here at the moment is my Apple AirPods. I have my GoPro, and then I also tossed in an additional laptop charger just to kind of showcase the amount of space that's offered there. And this one doesn't go down too low, which I think is a little different from some of the other bags. Most of the volume actually is upwards, so that can be a little bit awkward to use, but still a decent amount of space. And again, nice to have that extra bit of protection from this lining. Behind that, you have another admin compartment with internal organization. Again, these don't go super deep. This goes about midway to the bag, so it doesn't interfere with any of the stuff that you might be storing on the bottom. And so this is exactly the same as the other North Face bags that we've looked at. So a couple of slip pockets on the front, a manicure set, and then I have a deck of playing cards. On the back, you have another fleece lined slip pocket, kind of perfect for a phone, or in my case, I actually have my Apple Magic Mouse. And then next to that, another slip pocket where I have portable battery. This one's not elastic in any way, so it might be something that stuff could slide out of, or you're a little more limited in what you can store. And then I have a little flashlight in the one all the way on the left. And then you have zipper pocket for smaller items that you don't want floating around. Cables, that's what I currently have here, is an extra USB-C cable. And on the inside of this compartment, you also have a little lanyard with a plastic clip. It's gonna be great for your keys, or in my case, I have a little Gerber dime attached there. And then all the way at the back, you have a taller slip pocket. It's not quite a fleece lining here, but it's still pretty soft and protective, so a good spot for a tablet that you might want to grab more regularly, or a Kindle. So yeah, nice internal organization here for the items that you need to grab a little more regularly. And then taking a look at the laptop compartment, really glad that they followed the same layout as the Surge here. So it's a little bit better than some of the other North Face bags. The Surge has been my favorite for a while because it gives you a little bit more space. You have a couple of different sections in here. So at the front, you have just a tall area that's going to be a good spot for files, folders. You could probably slip in an additional thinner device if you wanted to. Once you place thick things in all of the sections, it gets very, very tight, so I try to avoid that. In the middle here, you have kind of a dedicated tablet area. This sleeve here is pretty padded, so it does feel like it's going to add some protection, keeps the tablet off the bottom of the ground. Currently what I have here is an iPad mini, which fit in there pretty comfortably, but 10-inch tablet should probably also be able to slide in there. And then on the back, you have the actual laptop sleeve. I like that the padding here is pretty thick and robust. You also have a soft fleece lining on the front to help preventing it scratching, and the compartment is properly suspended off the bottom of the ground, so when you drop your laptop in and you place your bag down, it doesn't feel like there's any chance of damage. Plenty of space here, definitely up to a 16-inch laptop. Currently what I have here is a 13-inch MacBook Air, but you can see there's lots of leftover space here. So pulling my device out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. Does come up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, you should be able to fit it in there pretty nicely. You also have really rigid frame sheet at the back, so lots of support. And yeah, in general, with the amount of padding that's offered here, it really feels like my devices are going to be well protected while I'm traveling or running around throughout the day. And then moving into the main compartment, which is maybe the biggest area of interest if you're considering this bag, just due to the extra space that it offers. You have a similar top loading style to the other North Face bags, and then just a really cavernous open area that's going to be able to hold a lot of stuff. I was very curious to see what the 40 liters of this bag would feel like compared to a more traditional travel backpack. I will say it can hold a good amount. Currently what I have here is kind of a travel setup. So I currently have the smaller Peak Design packing cube and the larger one. They both fit in there, which isn't always the case with their smaller bags. I have a really hard time fitting both of these in, so they fit comfortably, meaning that I could use this for travel. And even with having both of these items in there, I still have some additional capacity to place an extra pair of shoes, or I could fit my DOT kit into one of these front compartments. So it does provide some additional flexibility. It doesn't feel as spacious as I would have expected for a 40-liter bag, like the 40-liter Tortuga travel backpack or some of the other 40-liter bags that I've looked at. It just feels like you have a little bit more space. So I imagine that the 40 liters incorporates volume from all of the different pockets and probably leaves it at still a little bit under 40 as far as true storage space in this main area, but it does feel like it can hold a little bit more than the Surge, which is, the biggest benefit if you need this bag is primarily the space, since everything else is so similar. And then if you don't want to use it for travel per se, you just have a lot of EDC stuff that you need to carry with you for whatever reason on a day-to-day basis, you do have just a ton of capacity to toss in your organizer pouches, your accessories. I would place my Levitate portable standing desk, my Evergood Civic Access pouch, a couple of other tech pouches, my over-ear headphones, and then with the amount of space that's offered here and the rest of the pocketing that's offered throughout the bag, it'd be very easy to manage everything that I typically need to carry. I'd probably have a ton of leftover space, so it could be great as a gym bag, toss in a change of clothes, if I'm doing any type of sports. So great layout here. I've liked it in other North Face bags. If you've used other North Face bags, you can really kind of know what to expect here with some slight differences. And if you're looking for a comfortable, capable, larger capacity bag that can double for minimal travel or for larger EDC use, and this is going to be a really solid option to consider. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty good experience testing out the Router backpack over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase this on the North Face's site or REI and Amazon for about $160, which feels like a pretty reasonable price point. It's generally in line with the price for the North Face's other bags. This one being a little bit bigger, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but considering the features and the build quality, feels fairly reasonable, and it also compares well to other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, of course, this first reminded me of some of the other North Face bags that we've looked at, primarily the Surge, which is the closest in size to this one. The Surge comes in at about 31 liters, so it's still a fair amount smaller, but it's got, the same harness system, build quality and materials. That one actually has a little bit more as far as organization. I like the dual front pocket layout that the Surge has. It also has the webbing along the front, so it's my favorite in terms of the functionality and features of the North Face's bags, while it still offers a good capacity without feeling overwhelming for EDC like this one did to me. This is maybe a little more travel weekend usage type size, whereas the Surge and the Recon and those are a little bit more manageable for EDC. But beyond that, very similar bags. They offer a lot of the same benefits, and it'll really just come down to how much space you need and the slight organizational nuances between the three. Pretty similar price points as well. So definitely make sure to check out the videos that I've done in the past for the Surge, the Recon, and the Borealis if you are curious about those. The next bag this made me think of is the Osprey Proxima, which comes in at around 30 liters, so it's going to be a little smaller than this, but it has a similar vibe in my opinion, so pretty functional, a little more outdoorsy. It's got pretty lightweight but durable materials. It's comfortable to wear. I don't think the harness is quite as robust as this bag, but it still felt pretty good, breathable. At 30 liters, it can still hold an impressive amount, especially since it's got a pretty simple, cavernous main compartment, separate laptop area. So, just a really solid bag overall. It's got a slightly different organizational layout, so if that one kind of matches up a little bit better with your preferences and you're looking for something spacious and lightweight, then that's going to be a great option to check out. Another bag this made me think of is the Patagonia Black Hole 32-liter backpack, which has been one of my favorite minimal travel bags of the past couple of years. That one always surprises me when I revisit it, just how much it can hold. Patagonia has, a really kind of outdoorsy, functional vibe, kind of like the North Face. It's got the shinier exterior, so it's maybe a little flashier. It's got webbing along the front, so you can attach things. It's got water bottle pockets, a lot of the same benefits that you might find in this bag. At 32 liters, it is slightly smaller than this, but because of the simplified layout, they end up holding a pretty similar amount in my opinion. And it's also going to be a little bit lighter. And it just offers a great pocketing layout in my opinion. It's a little bit more simplified, which I generally like. I do think the harness system on the router is a little more robust, but the Black Hole pack is maybe slightly more breathable, so you can kind of pick and choose your preferences there. But if you're looking for something spacious, lightweight, if you're a fan of Patagonia's brand as an alternative to this, then the Black Hole pack is going to be a great option to take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Tortuga 40-liter travel backpack, which definitely feels like a pretty different bag from this. It's much more travel focused. It opens up like a suitcase, feels a little bit bigger. Even though they both come in at 40 liters, the Tortuga bag definitely feels like it can hold more. And it's just a bulkier bag. I definitely wouldn't consider using it for EDC, but it's super comfortable. It has one of the best harness systems on the market, adjustable, breathable, highly weather resistant materials. It's got a nice organizational layout that doesn't feel overwhelming, padded laptop compartment, so it kind of checks off all the boxes for what you would be looking for out of a larger one bag travel solution. And if you have a little bit of a higher budget and you want something that you can take with you on like an overseas trip, or that's just going to give you a little more space, and that's going to be one of the best options to take a look at. With that being said, the North Face router holds up pretty well against all those options, and if you're a fan of the North Face's bags and are just looking for something that offers the same comfort and organization with a little bit more space, then this is going to be a really solid option to consider. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the router backpack and how it compares to some of the other similar minimal travel and larger EDC bags that we've featured on the channel in the past. And if there's any similar options that you think of that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you as always for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.